Good afternoon and welcome to our 88th Commencement, celebrating the achievements of the class of 2012. We begin with our national anthem, sung by Professors Carrie Bricker, Clark Kelso, Jay Leach, Vice Provost Paul Payton, and one of today's graduates, Clayton McCarl. Please stand and remain standing for the invocation which will follow.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And now, if you will remain standing, I invite Deanne Hollenhurst, University Chaplain, to give us the invocation.
O Holy One, author of all knowledge, source of wisdom and truth, you have led us here this afternoon to celebrate. We invoke your blessing this day as we affirm the lives and achievements of those whom we've gathered here to honor. We offer you praise and thanksgiving for the unique gifts you have bestowed upon the students who are graduating today from McGeorge School of Law, the faculty and staff who have taught, given support and encouragement, and the family and friends who have offered support, patience, and love. Bless us to be persons of integrity and compassion, and to possess a desire for truthfulness and justice. With trust in you and great hope and thanksgiving, we offer this prayer to you, O Holy One, ever living and true. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Hollenhurst. Please be seated. With great pleasure, I now introduce our platform party. I would ask them to rise and remain standing until the introductions are complete, and I would ask you to hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. First, our university regents, McGeorge alum and Chief Judge Morrison C. England, Jr., United States District Court for the Eastern District of California. Next, McGeorge alum Noel M. Ferris, a distinguished litigator and a member of the American College of Trial Lawyers. McGeorge alum Judge, Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, Consuelo M. Callahan, and President of our Board of Regents, Kathleen L. Jansen. Then our senior university leadership, Dr. Maria Pallavicini, University Provost, Dr. Patrick Kavanaugh, University Vice President for Finance and a lawyer, Dr. Elizabeth Griego, University Vice President of Student Life, and finally, Janet Dial, Interim Vice President for University Development. Next, our commencement speaker, California Supreme Court Chief Justice Tani Cantil Sakaue. And finally, our Pacific McGeorge, Dean Designate and the newest member of our tenured faculty, Francis J. Moots III. Jay will join us as the 9th Dean of Pacific McGeorge on June 1, and no one could be more delighted at his selection than I am. It's clear that the 10 years legacy I leave behind will be in excellent hands. Our distinguished faculty is also seated on the platform and individually identified in your program. I invite them to stand as well for very well-deserved recognition. This is their day as much as it is our graduates. It is only with their dedication that we have achieved the student success this day represents. Please join me in recognizing our entire platform party. We are exceptionally fortunate in this year's commencement speaker, Chief Justice Tani Cantil Sakaue. She's a familiar face at Pacific McGeorge, the immediate past president of the Anthony M. Inn of Court, Anthony M. Kennedy Inn of Court, which, as many of you know, meets monthly on our campus. She has led this award-winning chapter of the American Inns of Court to tremendous success in her presidency. The Inn brings together judges, lawyers, and many of our law students who are dedicated to advancing professionalism, civility, and ethics in the practice of law. A Sacramento native, Justice Cantil Sakaue grew up not far from our Oak Park campus. She was raised in Land Park and graduated from McClatchy High and Sacramento City College. She earned BA and JD degrees from the University of California, Davis. Following her graduation, Justice Cantil Sakaue began a distinguished legal career, first in the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office, and then, after 4 years as a prosecutor, joining former Governor George Deukmejian's administration as both Deputy Legal Affairs Secretary and also Deputy Legislative Secretary. At the age of only 31, she was appointed to the Sacramento Municipal Court. Governor Pete Wilson then elevated her to Superior Court in 1997, and Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger appointed her to the California 3rd District Court of Appeal 8 years later. When California's Supreme Court Justice Ronald George announced his decision to retire, many leading California jurists were considered to succeed him. Chief Justice Cantil Sakaue's distinguished career, however, propelled her quickly to the top of Governor Schwarzenegger's list of nominees. Her July 2010 nomination as Chief Justice was unanimously approved by the California Commission on Judicial Appointments. It's my great and personal pleasure to welcome this dear friend of Pacific McGeorge, Chief Justice Tani Cantil Sakaue, to deliver today's commencement speech. I can think of no one whose remarkable service provides a better role model for those who are graduating today. Justice Cantil Sakaue.
Good afternoon. What a tremendous pleasure it is to be here at your graduation. I cannot tell you how much I respect Pacific McGeorge School of Law. In my 20 years on the bench here, 14 on the trial court, and 6 years on the Court of Appeal, for every single legal event of note and occurrence, Pacific McGeorge was involved in promoting and facilitating the assistance of lawyer development in this legal community. So even apart from its distinguished faculty and its rigorous academic scholarship, Pacific McGeorge is a leader and stands tall in the legal community, developing lawyers long after they have graduated from law school. And I was the happy recipient of many of those programs, also working hand in hand with many of the faculty leaders, professors here today. But I want to add my congratulations to this 88th graduating class of McGeorge. Your graduation brings all of us, whether we be judge, justice, lawyer, professor, chief counsel, a bit of pride and memory in our own day, because we all know of your great focus, discipline, and sacrifice. And all of us here know, however, that the great lawyerly character of trying to peer around corners is probably with you today. So let me say that today is not a day to be thinking about your next steps. Today is not a day to be thinking about any anxiety over the bar or the next few months. Really, today is a day for accomplishment and celebration. It is a day of recognizing your achievement. In the course of your career, you will have days like this, and you have to take care to honor them. You also have to take care on a day like today to honor your support system, your loved ones who dragged you across the finish line. Because every one of us here knows that none of us would be here without our village, without all the people who helped us. And think about your support system. They had the virtual experience of law school, and they get to do the virtual experience of the state bar. Aren't they lucky with no JD? Let me also say that today is a day of note. Look around you and remember your classmates and your colleagues and who you sit with. Remember that years and years and years from now, you'll be across the table from them, or at a conference with them, or you'll see them on the street in DC, and they will be professors and partners and chief counsels and bar association presidents, and they will be legislators and judges and justices, and you will have shared this moment together. And believe me, no matter how adversarial that encounter might be, you will be proud of them, just as we are proud of you. You enter a noble calling. There is no greater responsibility in our democracy than to protect, safeguard, and advocate for the rights of others. I believe George Washington said once, or believed, that the administration of justice is the greatest pillar of government. And so I'd like to spend my few moments with you talking to you today from two perspectives. And the first perspective is, as Chief Justice of California, the head of the judicial branch, I'd like to bring you, quote unquote, news from the front. But I also want to talk to you a little bit about being a steward, because I recognize, as fast as my almost 3 decades has gone since I graduated from law school and stand here before you, that I am a placeholder, and that my responsibility is to this great institution of justice to make sure it is delivered to you, the next chief, the next judge, the next justice, in as strong and excellent a condition as it is now. But first, before I bring you news from the front, I think you first have to sort of understand the layout of the front in order to truly appreciate the news. And so let me start with saying first that you will soon be joining the ranks of 230,000 licensed attorneys in the state of California. And there are a few things you should know. You're already taught to think critically, but let me give you some background about where you'll be entering and doing most of your work. The California Judicial Branch is the largest judiciary in the country, including the federal system. The California Judicial Branch is the largest law-trained judiciary in the world. We have approximately 1,700 jurists, and they are comprised of 7 Supreme Court justices, 105 Court of Appeal justices, and approximately a little less than 1,600 trial court judges. We also have a constitutional policy-making body called the Judicial Council, and probably relevant to you in a few months, the State Bar is an administrative arm of the California Supreme Court. And so as the State Bar regulates attorney admission and discipline, when you take the bar and when you pass, your name will come across my desk for the official signature for admission. And I will be looking for your name and smiling as I sign the official paperwork. But also, the judicial branch has 20,000 court employees. We occupy 19 million square feet. And last year, we had over 10 million filings in Superior Court. We are a vast and complicated system of bench and bar. We handle the most challenging cases facing the nation. In fact, California cases spark much of the national debate. Our decisions, I think scholarly and intelligently and with the help of the bar, advance the rule of law and develop the rule of law not only in our state but in our nation. And so as I bring to you the news of the front, it's important that you understand how big we are and what we do. And remarkably, it all comes as a bargain because the judicial branch operates on only 2.4% of the entire state general fund. So when you look at the pie of the state general fund, the entire state of California, the judicial branch in which you will spend most of your time, one way or another, either in court, preparing for court, or better yet, staying out of court, is 2.4%. Now here's the news on the front. The judicial branch, the legal system, the practice of law, the business of law, the education of lawyers is undergoing a fundamental, unprecedented, historic transformation. And you stand on the threshold of crossing over into that transformation. And the transformation, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your point of view, is one of contraction, one of downsizing to do better. And there may be many reasons for it, but I'm going to spend a little time telling you very briefly one aspect that is probably the most immediate driver of the transformation, and that is this. In 2007, 2008, approximately 5 years ago, the state fund had, the general fund of California was approximately $103 billion. That's as much money as the state had to run itself, $103 billion. But while you were in law school, the state shrunk. For some reason, we now have only $86 billion upon which to run the state of California. So while you were in law school, while I was on the Court of Appeal and coming to the Supreme Court, the state of California shrunk by $16 billion. And I can't tell you the whys or the wherefores or the effects of that. I can only tell you that to the judicial branch, where you will be making your livelihood, and consequently also the public sector and the private sector of the bar and law practice, at least in the judicial branch, we've seen a 24% reduction in our judicial branch budget. Not funded for growth, so 24%. And mind you, that's only 2.4% for 38 million Californians. That may not sound like much here or there, but here's the impact. And the impact is this. We are seeing closed courtrooms. We are seeing closed courthouses. When courts are required to reduce their budget, we have to look at the civil caseload. We look at the civil caseload because criminal defendants' rights are protected by the Constitution and statute. So when we look to cut 24% out of our budget, we close civil. The impact falls heaviest on civil. We've laid off over 720 court employees. There's rumors that we will be laying off more. Hundreds more have been furloughed. Clerks' hours have been closed. Now, the impact of this, as I go up and down the state, is that when I talk to lawyers in the public sector and the private sector, in the partners and the chiefs, they tell me they're not hiring. And they're not hiring because cities and counties have also taken the consummate reduction that the state has in the contraction of its resources, and also because civil is acting in accord and downsizing, if not dissolving. Judges tell me that more than ever, they're seeing an increase in self-represented litigation in the most complex and important cases because people can't afford to hire lawyers because they're out of jobs. When I speak with the pro bono legal services folks, they tell me that their contributions and donations are down, but their demand is never greater. So as you can see, the need for justice and the need for you out there is still there. It's as great, if not greater. But the structure is changing. It is contracting. You know, it reminds me as I sit through these meetings and as I brace myself for the May 14 revise of the budget on Monday where we hear further reductions are coming, it reminds me of the quote of Learned Hand, who said, if we are to keep our democracy, then our first commandment must be thou shalt not ration justice. But there is no question that we are in that process. And unfortunately, there is no question that you are standing on that threshold, waiting to cross it, and we are working diligently to make it an intelligent structural transformation. And the silver lining, if there is one, happens to be that we have the best and the brightest from the bar, the best and the brightest from the bench coming together working on this resolution, because everyone knows how important it is. Because no one besides lawyers knows, and judges know how important it is that the justice system be open to solve civil disputes and serve as a civil safety net for all of our disputes in California. So the silver lining is, as stewards, we intend to keep intact this great system for you. It may be different. It might look a little different in your county, in the firm you might practice or volunteer, but it will survive. And that brings me to my second perspective that I'd like to share with you today, and it's as a steward. I want to speak to you in that voice, I suppose, because I realize my place as a placeholder. Approximately 30 years ago, I sat in a chair much like yours, and I heard someone speak to me about the future of the law. You stand in a decidedly different place. But I would say to you this: the future may be uncertain, and it may be daunting, but all of you are perfectly trained to take that on. All of you are perfectly trained, having come from McGeorge, to assess the future as an adversary, as an ally, for you to look at it and find your place in that future. I realize that it's uncertain, but I also realize, based on my experience and the experience of many, many people that I've met in the state of California who have succeeded in the practice of law, tell me that the path they are on today was never the path they envisioned when they started in law school and when they got out of law school. So you have to know that the future has unfathomable opportunities for you, and your challenge is to recognize them. When I came out of law school in the early 80s, the job market was bleak. Of course, I needed to scramble for a job, and I took the first available one at the district attorney's office. That wasn't my plan. Didn't care for criminal law, paid no attention during Crim Pro. That wasn't where I was going to go. I didn't plan on living in Sacramento. I wanted to go back to the Bay Area. But I'm telling you, in times of uncertainty, we have to be flexible and opportunistic. So of course I took that interview and I said, this is what I wanted to do my entire life. I took a job, didn't know where the courthouse was, never saw the inside of a courtroom. Had to tell the judge, this is my first trial, please tell me where I sit. And so that's how it begins. I know you have plans and you have dreams when you started, but I speak from experience and the experience of others that the future is rich, and you do not and cannot yet know what this profession will hold for you. And that's why 21 years into the position as a judge, my utter shock in receiving a phone call from the governor's office asking me if I was interested in applying for the position of Chief Justice. Because everything you do in your career will be premised on your integrity, your attitude, and your hope, and that you do the best job you can where you are as if it were your last. So my role to chief has been unpredictable, non-traditional, and I couldn't chart it for anyone. But it has been one incredible ride. And I know the same is in store for you with the right attitude, flexibility, and know-how. Remember, Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, graduating third from her class from Stanford, couldn't get a legal job out of law school. She had to volunteer her time and force herself on the Sacramento or the San Mateo County Council's office by agreeing to take a desk into the desk of the secretary, into the office of the secretary, so she could work for free. And in 1981, she changed history. So this is all in store for you. And don't worry about it today. Today is a day of enjoyment. Today is a day to thank these wonderful people who have stocked these halls to support you. And you have my support and my hope. And when you get there and when you're ready, this job is yours.
Thank you, Chief Justice Kantil Sakaui. I think Governor Schwarzenegger got it right. It's now my great pleasure to introduce Pacific's Provost, Dr. Maria Pallavicini, who will offer her personal congratulations to the class of 2012. Dr. Pallavicini is the university's Chief Academic Officer. She has overall responsibility for Pacific's educational and research programs, library services, enrollment, financial aid, its registrar, and continuing education. The Provost holds a BS in biochemistry from UC Berkeley and a PhD in pharmacology from the University of Utah at Salt Lake City. Dr. Pallavicini is highly regarded as a teacher of biology, from freshman general education courses to stem cell biology, advanced, upper level, and graduate courses in cancer biology and genetics. She's internationally recognized for her research in stem cells and health and disease, and particularly stem cells in cancer. Provost Pallavicini is deeply dedicated to maintaining and enhancing the quality of a Pacific education and thus the value of your degree. She's a driving force in moving Pacific to new stages of excellence and is currently leading the university's strategic planning process. We at the law school have found her to be a special friend, and it's a particular pleasure to then welcome Provost Maria Pallavicini to the podium.
So thank you to our distinguished Board of Regents, our excellent Dean, Elizabeth Rinskoff-Parker, and her team, and our inspiring speaker, our California Chief Justice. Congratulations, graduates. Congratulations, friends and family. The day you've been waiting for has finally arrived. I'm delighted to be here to celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2012. You have worked tremendously hard, and I'm proud to call you graduates of University of the Pacific. You have attended Pacific McGeorge during a very special time, one of new beginnings, and also one of sentimental farewells. On the one hand, you saw the beautiful new Legal Studies Center open on the first day of classes last fall, the largest construction project ever undertaken on Pacific's McGeorge 13-acre campus. Its completion is a major milestone in the campus history. The beauty and functionality of the Legal Studies Center surpassed even the loftiest expectations. It will be a treasure to connect you when you visit campus as alumni. On the other hand, this year we also must say goodbye to our beloved Dean, Elizabeth Rinskoff-Parker. The McGeorge School of Law would not be the place of excellence and rigor that it is today without Dean Parker's leadership. I know you join me in thanking her profusely for her years of service and wish her the very best in the years ahead. Elizabeth, your legacy at Pacific McGeorge is huge. You will be greatly missed. Dean Rinskoff-Parker provides an excellent role model for a life dedicated to justice, fairness, and service. By choosing the legal profession, all of you have demonstrated your commitment to these core values. I applaud this commitment, and I urge you to continue. Take whatever you learned at Pacific and use it to make the world a brighter place. Today's world is complex, it's fast-paced, it's dynamic. It demands critical minds, ethical hearts, and a willingness to work together. Fortunately, the education you received at Pacific McGeorge has prepared you to thrive in this world and to lead a life of excellence, principle, and service. Many of you are well on your way. For example, Colin Hendricks, your Student Bar Association president. Colin decided to go to law school during an undergraduate semester abroad. A close friend was experiencing abuse at the hands of a roommate, and Colin jumped in to help. His success in gathering evidence and witnesses and presenting a coherent case to the school administration showed him that he had the talent and passion to succeed as a lawyer and make a difference. He plans to continue a career in public service. And I'm thrilled to hear, Colin, that you have successfully balanced the Student Bar Association budget this year. You'll certainly have a real impact in public service. Sarah Tobias is another graduate who is making a difference. Sarah has been active in the Crime Victims' Right Clinic at McGeorge, where she recently became involved in an unusual case. An incest victim had cut ties with her attacker. The victim wanted to change her last name so that she no longer shared it with him. The law says that to change her last name, she would need to notify her attacker, which of course would have defeated the victim's purpose. Sarah was able to resolve the case by filing motions and getting the imprisoned father to terminate his parental rights. Sarah has called fighting for victim rights her most rewarding experience in law school, and she, like many of you, will undoubtedly use her legal expertise to bring positive change for many years to come. Graduates, I applaud the commitment to making a difference that these stories, and I'm sure the stories that you have, illustrate, and I implore you to keep it up. Keep dreaming big, keep working hard, and keep helping others. Assist others to reach the milestone that you're celebrating today. Thanks to your hard work, you and your family's investment in your future, you've earned a piece of the American dream. There are many others to thank as well: the faculty who mentored you, the professionals who provided internships for you, and the generous donors who closed the gap between tuition and the true cost of a Pacific education. Today, you become part of Pacific's extended family. We want always to share in the accomplishments of your life, and we ask, as the speaker did, that you continue to support each other. Support the lifelong friendships you formed, and support the students of the future. Give back to help future students thrive as you have thrived. Pacific McGeorge class of 2012, go forth, do well, but most importantly, do good.
Thank you, Provost Pallavicini. The graduating class has selected 3 speakers, 1 each from the Juris Doctor and Evening divisions, and 1 from our Graduate Masters in Law program. Representing the Day division is Travis Clark. A native who worked for a consulting firm for several years before coming to law school, he holds a BA in Communication Study from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. At Pacific McGeorge, his extracurricular activities include his role as a teaching assistant in our award-winning Global Lawyering Skills program, this year ranked number 13 in the nation. Mr. Clark.
Hello, everyone. Before I get started, I just want to tell Professor Darlington Person and Professor Bricker, just bullets, yeah? Thank you, Madam Chief Justice. It's an honor to have you here with us today. Thank you to the McGeorge administration, to the esteemed faculty, to our friends and family. Thank you for joining us. To the class of 2012. When I was elected to be your commencement speaker, I was instantly excited, honored, humbled, but then I was instantly nervous. What do I say to my friends, my colleagues, my peers, to leave you with words of inspiration as we take our next steps into the future? But then I remembered a study. A bunch of doctors got together. They surveyed 1,000 of the best speeches over time. And you know what they found? They found that 70% of a speech is how you look. So, 20% is how you sound. So, I think you guys can all hear me. Everyone good? Cook, you need that attorney yet? Call me now. 10% is what you say. So I came to law school, I'm not a mathematician, but let's see, 70 plus 20 is 90, and 10%. Yeah, I pretty much nailed this, right? So now that you've heard the best speech ever, I want to say a few words to the class of 2012 and tell you why we're going to be all right. We are going to be all right because we proved our mettle. When we walked into our first classroom on that first day, in that first year, we were scared, we were nervous, we didn't know what to expect. But we did as Dean Parker advised. We looked to our left, we looked to our right, and we made friends with those people. Friendships that will endure forever. We studied together, we shared notes. We stayed in that library until they kicked us out. But we did it. We endured Vitello's class. We endured Levine's class. And we survived Sprankling's. We proved our mettle in that first year. And then we came back. We came back for year number 2. And on top of our full load of classes, we had to do OCIs, look for internships or jobs. We had to take 4 unit a semester classes. Who did that, by the way? That was cruel. I just want you to know that. But again, we put our nose down, we approached our duties with conviction, we kissed our loved ones goodbye, we told them we'll see them at break, and we proved that we can do this job. We proved our mettle. And then we came to our 3rd year, older, wiser, bored. Just kidding. They told us we had to take the bar, get prepared for it, take the MPRE, and then to endure the most depressing hour of our lives. Thank you, Joe Pincus. I now know what debt feels like, yeah? But again, we leave and we've proved our mettle. As we step into a turbulent economy and changing times, we take with us the skills that we learned in law school. They're not just applicable to tests and analysis and legal opinions. We'll look at the facts, we'll weigh them, we'll analyze them, and we will come to our conclusion, and we will be okay. Churchill was right. We are still the masters of our fate. We are still the captains of our souls. Now, I want to do something that apparently has never been done at a graduation before, but I want the auditorium management to know it's not liquor, it's just water, so don't arrest me. But I want to propose a toast to the class of 2012. We proved our mettle in the past, we proved our mettle in the present, and we will prove our mettle in the future. This is our day. We rocked this. Congratulations, class of 2012. Love you guys. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Travis. I think we all agree that will be memorable. Representing the evening division is Barbara Thomas. Ms. Thomas is an honors graduate of the University of California at Santa Barbara. She was a student in our accelerated part-time program who graduated from Pacific McGeorge last December. She took the state bar examination in February and is now confidently awaiting results. We're proud of the fact that she's one of our legacy students. Her father, Randy Thomas, class of 1977, is a prominent Northern California attorney. Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Dean.
Good afternoon. Order, order in this court. It began 4 years ago with contracts, GLS, and torts. Feelings of nerves and excitement as they told us, look to your left and then to your right. The rumor that 1/3 of us wouldn't make it to this day clearly holds no light. Brave and courageous are the loved ones, friends, and family here today, because if you're here, that means us going to law school has not yet scared you away. 1Ls, or as we were called, 1Es, a class of 117 assembled together by our own free will. Law school soon became a demanding reality, yet maintained its appeal. Reading hundreds of pages a day, cases decided by learned hand, O'Connor and Kennedy, in our seats at 6 p.m. for the Socratic method, thinking, please don't call on me. Soon the world around us began to change and law took form in all aspects of our lives. As evening students, there were those of us with careers, husbands, children, and wives. I admire those in my class who were able to juggle it all with such ease, or so it appeared. When the stress levels ran high, the men went bald and started to grow beards. To my fellow evening students, a rare breed of genius indeed. On this adventure, we've grown from colleagues to family, pushing one another to succeed, studying for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours as the rest of the world continued to turn, closing our books at 5 a.m. thinking, there's only so much I can learn. Study partners with the patience to explain the Commerce Clause to me until you too were confused. Excited for spring break because extra time to study? Only a law student could be so amused. In law school, Iraq does not refer to a country. Rap is not music, and bar review, sadly, has nothing to do with the test we take. The reasonable man is completely unreasonable because apparently he never makes a mistake. And when the bag of flour miraculously falls from the window to settle the score, it speaks for itself, you know, res ipsa loquitur. Mastering the legal jargon is no task to be performed overnight. With the right education, we can now confuse you all as we discuss rational basis with more bite. As law students, our hands do not go unraised, and our voices do not go unheard. Like mathematicians and their numbers, you, my friends, are artists with your words. In McGeorge's courtroom of the future, a strong argument was music to our ears. Law school is the one place where it's totally okay to argue with your peers. McGeorge has instilled in us more than just a legal education. We leave with a moral compass the profession can be proud of, a strong dose of moral medication. To the professors, you lectured late into the night, pardoning our yawns and subtle blank gazes, molding us into a band of future lawyers. Your critiques meant the world, more so than your praises. And what do you think the answer is, Miss Thomas? Was your response when I asked you how, why, or for what reason? Learning to think like a lawyer, we did adapt, our minds seasoned. They used tactics of intimidation, long pauses, daunting stares. Catching us off guard only happened once, Professor Weber. After that, we were always prepared. To the professors, our gratitude, respect, and the most sincere of thanks, because as we move forward to conquer the bar exam, we will not be walking the plank. Now that our brains are full, our wallets are empty, and our nerves have begun to subside, it's time to celebrate, wear sunscreen, and for the first time in years, go outside. What happens next in our lives remains to be seen. But one thing is true across the board. The experience of law school is one that will follow you, always on your heels, never to be ignored. University of the Pacific, McGeorge School of Law, Dean Parker, faculty, Oak Park, you will be missed. And as this chapter of our lives closes, all that's left to say is case dismissed.
Thank you, Barbara. It seems we have a natural talent. I should add that Barbara has become a leader, obviously, in her own right, notwithstanding that she suffered in her first year under some confusion with the other Barbara Thomas. And that's the Barbara Thomas many of you know and who is beloved by hundreds of alumni, who has for years organized this ceremony. Today, the other Barbara Thomas retires from Pacific McGeorge. Join me in thanking her. You know, only a ruse would get her out on stage, and I wondered whether she would read the edited remarks that I sent her earlier in the day. Apparently not. You trusted me. Representing the LLM class is Adriana Aguine. Miss Aguine is a graduate of Sorocaba Faculty of Law in Sao Paulo, Brazil. She immigrated to the United States in 2006 and has worked as a trial assistant for the Deschutes County District Attorney's Office in Bend, Oregon. Armed with an LLM in transnational business practice, she plans to practice law in California. Ms. Aguine.
Woo! Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Dean Parker, Chief Justice, professors, faculty, staff, friends, students, and my fellow classmates. For those who don't know me, my name is Adriana Guena. I am an LLM student from São Paulo, Brazil. As you can see, there is the flag. Thank you. I'm very honored to be here today and represent all the international students. It is a big honor, but it's also a responsibility. I hope I can deliver the message beautifully. We have today about 30 international students graduating, and we have students from all over the world, from the 4 continents. But before I start, I would like to let you know that this is my first public speech in English, which means that if I start speaking in Portuguese, which is my first language, I'm very nervous, and English escapes from my mind. So just bear with me, laugh, applause, and everything will be all right at the end. I would like to start by saying a big thank you to our family members for their support. It has been a tough journey for all of us, and without our family's help, patience, a lot of patience, love, encouragement, we wouldn't be here today. So one more time, thank you for our fathers and mothers and our kids and everybody who is involved to make this happen. I remember when I first arrived at McGeorge School of Law, University of the Pacific. It was about a year ago, and I was very confident, happy to be able to pursue my master's in America. I thought I had all the tools I needed to be successful. Having studied civil law in Brazil for 5 years, I just thought that this would be challenging but doable. And I thought that I had the attitude and the vocabulary, the English, enough to sit in class and understand everything the professors were going to talk about. But I was very, very wrong. And I have to share with you my story about being called on in class. It was my first class and happened to be a constitutional law class. And obviously, I was called on in class and I panicked. I didn't know if at first I thought I would pretend it wasn't me when the professor called me. I was like, not me, maybe her, but not me. I was just pretending, just looking straight. Do not make eye contact. I learned that later. No eye contact. No, this is not good. But he kept looking at me, and then I later found out he had a chart with my picture on it. So there was nowhere to run. So I thought, well, I'm going to run away. I'm just going to escape, But then I was wearing high heels, so that was not going to work either. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to speak in Portuguese because I know the answer, but I don't know how to say it in English. Well, it didn't work. Everybody started looking at me, and I was like, I just said something that sounded very smart, but I don't think I answered the question at all. So that's how I found out about the Socratic method. Yeah. Anyways, my fellow classmates and I quickly had to find out a way to improve our English. But not only, the English we learn in school. I'm talking about legal English, which is a whole different story. So obviously it's been challenging to be able not to translate, but to understand the concept of the words in English. It's been hard. It still is. But we are, we're learning. And we obviously have been studying together, crying together, and helping one another. It's been a tough journey, but, we've learned a lot. Obviously, we had a lot of help from other students, from professors, and obviously we could always count on Mama Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. She's our mama, and she has always taken care of us. So we appreciate everything you've done for us, Rachel. The international students and the international program at McGeorge School of Law in the University of the Pacific has given us the chance to contribute with the diversity within the diversity. We are very, very grateful to have had the opportunity to immerse in the culture and meet wonderful people. So we are very appreciative that America has given us the opportunity to be here today and accomplish this beautiful dream. I believe that when you live in a democratic country where freedom of speech, religion, press are some of the rights protected by the Constitution, we can only impact the world in a very positive way based in very simple principles. We are studying and opening our minds to a new world that can be built based on respect, love, compassion, freedom, gratitude, and tolerance. We can make the difference by educating ourselves, teaching our children and others around us that we should love one another as if there is no tomorrow. The Roman philosopher Cicero said that we can live based on 3 basic law principles, which is live honestly, do not cause harm, and respect one another. We have become more than friends. We have become a big family. And I know that some of my fellow classmates are going back to their country. But I'm sure that the ones that are going to go back and the ones that are staying have learned valuable lessons. And I'm sure they are going to be able to apply in their countries as well. I do hope we can always keep in touch and make this bond that we have built forever. I just want to say that this is not the end, but this is the beginning of a bright future for all of us. It's our big day, and today we are here to celebrate our victory. We made it, guys! Woo! Thank you. Obrigada. Spasiba. Shukran. Shishi. Merci. Danka.
Adriana, you did beautifully. I'm a little nervous, though, so I'm going to speak in English. We turn now to our principal order of business, the happy task of awarding Juris Doctor degrees to 309 candidates and Master of Law degrees to 38 candidates. Marshals, please prepare our LLM candidates. Those words are a signal. They're our graduation countdown. And they offer me one last opportunity to speak to you still as students, not yet quite alums. And so, good afternoon, family, friends, and future alumni, members of the class of 2012. You know, today's graduation happens, as often it does, on Mother's Day Eve. And so I've been thinking about mothers in the context of today's celebration. I'm reminded of the role that they play in our education. They are, after all, our first teachers, and I believe they are also our first mentors. The dictionary defines a mentor as a teacher, a guardian, loyal friend, or wise advisor. It's an expansive definition, I think for a reason. This was the role my own mother played, and she did so in many subtle ways, often by repeating sayings which I've come to see had hidden character-building purposes. One of her favorites was, "You can always tell a great man by the way he treats those who don't matter." Now, my mother was a great woman and a wonderful mentor. And in this little saying, she offered important advice about what we can learn from others, no matter their station in life. I think this saying has encouraged me to find my mentors everywhere. Looking back on my own professional career, I have found the mentors I needed in a secretary, an administrative assistant, a consistently helpful clerk of the court, a judge, a client, other lawyers, some with whom I worked and others whom I opposed. Together, they kept me on an ethical and personally rewarding path. During my decade here as dean at Pacific McGeorge, my principal mentor has actually been my husband, Bob Parker. It has been his support who has been so essential to my success. He has been, if you will, the Jiminy Cricket on my shoulder, there to encourage, criticize, and advise. We each need such a person. Now, as you move from law school's safe harbor into an exciting but challenging wider world, you too will want to ensure that you have a diverse supply of the mentors you need. Choose them carefully and remember that their role is more than simply technical advice or career assistance. You will need them for the character-building wisdom they can provide as you go forward in your professional lives. And remember, too, that the Pacific McGeorge family, particularly your faculty, want to continue as your mentors, even after you or they may leave the law school. One such wonderful faculty member is Professor Tom Main. here to bid you farewell as you receive your diplomas. Professor Main will join you in departing the law school today, but like you, he will remain a cherished part of our law school family, albeit now in an exciting new role. To each of you and to Professor Main, we ask this: keep in touch. Your mentors want to know what happens next. And so now, to you each, to your mentor mothers, your mentor fathers, mentor friends, mentor family, and mentor partners, congratulations. Together, we are commencing to the next chapter in our careers, made richer by our time together at Pacific McGeorge. And now, Provost Pallavicini, I present to you our candidates for the degrees of Master of Laws and Juris Doctor.
So upon recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of the Pacific, I confer upon you the degree you have earned.
Presenting the candidates for the degree of Master of Laws in Transnational Business Practice, Ahmed Gamal Ali. Daniel Allen Thompson, Esquire. Obehi Okoje. Saad Al-Abdul Wahid. Saeed Ikromov. Sultan Saleh Atwerji. Abdul Majid Alabad. Yazid Al-Said. Hussam Abdallah Alabardi. Karis Amelia Poulis. Julia Caroline Steffen. Veronica Vanas. Saima Aslam. Anvar Aslanov. Anna Solovieva. William Terman Reese, Jr. Denitz Haupt. Philip Johnson. Zhuwei Zhou. Lu Shizhuan. Shou Xiao Deng, accompanied by a family member.
There's no public policy. It's all U.S. law and policy.
All right. Presenting the candidates for the degree of Master of Laws in U.S. Law and Policy, Adriana Agena. Wanjun Kim. Adela Todarian. Margarita Vladimirova. Hisham Alashah. Bonaventure F. DeFore.
Experiential learning, the kids Sophia.
Presenting the candidate for the degree of Master of Laws for Experiential Law Learning, Shinjian Su and Sophia.
Now it's the valedictorians.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Master of Laws class of 2012. Provost Pallavicini, we now present to you the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor, beginning with the valedictorians, upon whom you shall confer valedictorian medals, and those members of the class of 2012 selected by our Faculty Committee on Honors and Awards for special recognition. The valedictorian for the day division of the class of 2012 is Katerina P. Deaver, Order of the Coif, with great distinction, with Sophia and Mark. Ms. Deaver is also recognized for overall scholastic accomplishment with the Outstanding Scholastic Achievement Award. The valedictorian for the evening division of the class of 2012, Leo Nicholas Moniz, Order of the Coif, with great distinction, accompanied by Charlotte and Adam. Mr. Moniz is also recognized for outstanding scholarship and academic achievement for the evening division with the Outstanding Graduating Senior Award. Recognized for outstanding scholarship and academic achievement with the Outstanding Graduating Senior Award for the Day Division, Lindsay Irene McCarl, the Order of the Coif, with great distinction and with a certificate in public law and policy. He just joined the faculty in singing the national anthem, the singing voice of the class of 2012, Clayton Swearingen McCarl, Order of the Coif, with great distinction and with a certificate in public law and policy. Recognized by the committee for having overall scholastic accomplishment with the Outstanding Scholastic Achievement Award for the Day Division, Carissa Lane Bauer, Order of the Coif, with great distinction and with a certificate in International Legal Studies. For the evening division, Abigail Sarah Maurer, Order of the Coif, with distinction. And John Scott Walker, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Recognized by the committee for remarkable contributions to the McGeorge community with the Outstanding Student Achievement Award for the Day Division, Brian Edward Hamilton, with distinction. And Ashley M. Porter, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. And for the evening division, Eton Saitsu, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Recognized by the committee for best representing a combination of scholarship and leadership with the American Law Institute American Bar Association Scholarship and Leadership Award for the Day Division, Megan Ann Cosgrove, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. For the evening division, Jacqueline Ruth Hassel, with distinction. Finally, the Faculty Committee on Honors and Awards gives you the recipients of the Outstanding Student Service Award in recognition of the graduating seniors who have given the most significant service to the McGeorge community. For the day division, Colin Austin Hendricks, with a certificate in public law and policy. And Shani Marie Rourke, with distinction, and with a certificate in public law and policy. And for the evening division, Erica Elizabeth Gonzalez. And Sage Danielle Cavaney, with a certificate in advocacy. Continuing with the JD class of 2012, Travis Hunter Clark, with distinction. Barbara Joanne Thomas. Timothy Kelly. Patrick Tsai. Zhu Wang. Dennis Garcia. Melanie A. Young, with distinction. Cassidy Dar Drager. Lindsay Ingham, with Merrick Ann Quinn. Ryan Colby Del Nero. Matthew Hosley. Aaron Scott Hesse, with distinction. Michelle Louise Ducharme, accompanied by Sydney Ducharme. Sonny Christine Stevenson, accompanied by son Merrick William Stowe. Stephanie Tabish Robles, accompanied by Peyton Elise Robles. Erin Rebecca Smith. Sean Gordon Doring. Colin James Child. Richard Morin, with distinction. Cheryl Lynn Kozachenko. Rosanna Lynn Carvacho. William Scott Lynch. Kara Skotak. Ben Parker. Lauren Killeen. Jacqueline Marie Leteri. David Charles Goodwin, with distinction. Kendra Gabriella Birchie, with distinction. Amanda Faye Riley. Emily Koster. Michael Jemnetsky. Julia Krug Valajos, with distinction. Kevin Cameron Walco, with distinction. Jennifer Ann Thompson. Julia Claire DeVos. Rebecca Morrissey, with distinction. Marjorie Andy Baris, accompanied by Kaylee and Elan. Viana Barbu. Kristen Marie Booley, with distinction. Sean Alexander. Howard Shane Hamilton, Order of the Coif, with great distinction.
I have with distinction, but I didn't.
Christopher Atkinson Shelton, with distinction, accompanied by family member. Keith Brigham Ebright. Michael David Uriel, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Matthew John Kirkpatrick. Scott Merrill. Christine Dixon, with distinction.
You wouldn't say my name, I'll just go up and take a picture. He's gonna want my name. Go ahead. Okay.
Therese Marie Vradenberg, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Stacy Caitlin Shelley. Abneet Kaur. Winnie Yan. Jean Clancy. William Dennis. Brandon Klinger. Amanda Brown. Derek Eugene Kuntz, accompanied by Jackson, Isabel, and Nathaniel, with distinction. Mindy Lauren Romaniak. Danielle Elise Wheeler, with distinction. Susan Nicole Luskatoff Booth, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Sarah Ann Saxon, with distinction. Sam Hosey. Adam Yakira. Debbie Kim. Kelly Mahoney. Teresia Ann Ortiz. Kelsey Harris. Diana Erin Bales. Lauren Elizabeth Calnero. Tawfiq Jamil Marar. Ibrahim Al-Qusair, accompanied by Nora Jumana. Christina Elizabeth Cortino, with distinction. Michelle Elizabeth Wells Trigger, with distinction, advocacy certificate. Jennifer Ann McCabe. Janelle Marie Jensens, with distinction. Olena Likachova, with distinction. Diana Gersten. Banu Kochal. Jacqueline Pham. Patrick Ryan Blood, with distinction. Kirsten Ray Lofton, with distinction. Christopher Richard Sanso, with distinction. Darren R. Sweetwood, with distinction. Jenny Elizabeth Bain, with distinction. Arash Yaye. Asen Villanov. Sean Kim.
Great job. Good.
Brett Daniel York. Adam Cook. Kelsey Peterson. Brian Kenneth Davalas. Elisa May Reinhardt. Gabriel Pablo Herrera, with distinction. Joshua Green. Colin Woodward. Jonathan Villavicencio. Kimberly Nicole Rosenberger. Bo Russell. Brooke Allison Kozak, with distinction. Corinne Risha, accompanied by Stephanie Risha. Deborah Joan Collars, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Sarah Ellen Tobias, with distinction. Poonam Dayalji. Miriam Siddiqui. Taylor Scott Hanning. Daniel Allen Perkins with distinction. Mark Matthew Benson with distinction. Joseph Dermont Fable with distinction. James Michael Barrett. Andrew Keith Hicks. Christopher Todd Braniff with distinction. Daniel Stephen Cucci with distinction. Justin Ronald Paddock, accompanied by Colin, with distinction. Wendy Ann Locke, with distinction. Toby Phoebe E. Adams and daughter Kaylin, with distinction. Whitney Minor. Deepa Ajit Kilcarney with Anika and Krish with distinction. Kam Von Win. Geneva Lai. Carissa Harding Tashiro with distinction. Janelle Ann Niznik, Certificate in Public Policy. Amber Lee Simmons, Certificate in Public Law and Policy and Advocacy. Bo Parkhurst. Jennifer Roque. Kimberly Maui Reyes. Susanna Thatch. Calvin Chang. Jennifer Baldassari. Azza Sedamed, accompanied by Yasmin Baywa. Christina Carrasco. Stacy Seychow, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Aaron Katayama, with distinction. Edwin Lamb. Brian Sean Fung. Ashley Tanaka. Chung Mi Alexa Choi. Elaine Yang. Agung Atmaja. Jimmy Chong Pak, with distinction. Casey Hartwig. Umer Perez, with distinction. Charles M. Bonneau III, accompanied by Leo. Sean Thomas Edwards, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Roger Koslaw. Jared Eggers. Jeremy Paul Ehrlich with distinction. Amy Marie M. Hammond. Harpreet Kaur Nakwald. Jessica Ann Philbrin.
Slow down for a second. There's a big line up back there. Just go a little slower.
Rafael Carrillo. Amanda Victoria Clark Bisogno. Serene Taguhe Nashanyan. Kevin Andrew James with distinction.
Anthony Ian Danielson.
Anthony Ian Danielson, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Tamana Zublawar, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Heidi Abbas. Riza Natalia Morris, International Legal Studies Certificate. Sarah Elizabeth Bobbitt. Chandani Graywall. Ricardo Lopez. Monica Cornejo Ramos. Jesus Marquez Mendoza, with distinction. Rebecca Marie Coleman, with distinction. Catherine Etul Rowe. Roy Mick Rubio, with distinction. Alexander T. Hughes, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Jeffrey James Patrick, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Kevin Lee Quaid, with distinction. Derek Richard Hoffman, with distinction. David J. Galagos. Yoon Woo Nam. Cassandra Melissa Banks. Casey Andren Ray Spence, with distinction. Stephanie Amber Arseth, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Morgan Ozols Durham, with distinction. Brittany Ann Griffith, with distinction. Amy Caskey, with distinction. Heather Ann Miller, with distinction. Ashley Diane Belden, Advocacy Certificate. Caitlin Rose Smith, with distinction. Andre Barakat.
Order of Barristers, Distinction Certificate in Public Law and Policy, please.
Timothy Allen Kammermeyer, Order of the Barristers, with distinction, Certificate in Public Law and Policy. Casey Marie Anderson, Order the coif with great distinction. Michael Corey Mapes, with distinction. Nathaniel William Grader, Order the coif with great distinction. Ashley Lynn McCarthy. Andrea Marie Upton, Order the coif with great distinction. Jennifer Rose DeHaan. Samantha Burkett. Jennifer Anders Gable. Bo Christopher Correa, with distinction. Lindsay Helene Sanders, International Legal Studies Certificate. Ashley Kristen Hom Bonnet, with distinction. Ashley Megan Baker Wistrom, with distinction. Nicholas Allen Bryson. Adam Daniel Saruf, accompanied by Asher and Hazel. Lily Cadeau, accompanied by son Sam Cadeau, Certificate in Public Law and Policy. Larry Q. Fon. Sean Michael Patrick, Advocacy Certificate. Matthew Thomas Haidiyat. Kimberly Ann Webb, accompanied by Peyton Webb, Order the coif with great distinction. Joshua Edlow, accompanied by the whole family here, Austin, Piper, Alexa. Gabriel Brandon Lenhart, with distinction.
I got an advocacy certificate. That's not on there. Okay.
David Jonathan Fleischman, Advocacy Certificate. Mohammed El Dasuki. Maxim Popov. Justin Sai. Biren Shaw. Yanni Petos. Valerie Akiko Kanemoto, with distinction. Elaine Abesamis. Jessica Michelle Miller. Anthony Paul John Valente. Andrew Thomas Fluss, with distinction. Damian Burks Troutman, with distinction. Sarman Tamazian. Corey Lee Thornhill. Alexis Colleen Vieira Potter.
Hello, Dean. Hello.
Esther Kim. Jesse Birchfield. Christina Obradovic Lambert. Elizabeth DeChellis Paris. Justin McManus. Daniel Charles Taylor, Order of the Coif with great distinction. Alan James Woodworth II, Order of the Coif with great distinction. Stephen Charles Jeffrey Shedd with distinction. Kristen Brooke Jensen. Ian A. Charge. Erin Marie Lillis with distinction. Kirk William Wilbur with distinction. Kevin Weimer. Michaela Lee Neal, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Danielle Francesca Diebert, with distinction. Giuseppe Stephen Cortez, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Mary Elizabeth Combe, with distinction. Aaron Allison Chan Adams, with distinction. Hema Patel. Bradley J. Catino, with distinction. Kim Tron, with distinction. Rochelle Ellenberg. Jason Lauren Boscano, with distinction. Willis Sterling Routson Thomas. Jill Cernock Larrabee. Antonina Gregory Mandruso. Erin Jennifer Tognetti. Edward Whitley Lester. Cassandra Dawn Shaft, with distinction. Joanna Elizabeth Michael, with distinction. Dana Marie Bryant, with distinction. Colin M. Sullivan, with distinction. Kyle Wesley Holmes, with distinction. Robert Stewart Cox, International Legal Studies Certificate. Josh Aldrich. Sterling Eugene Thayer, Jr. Natasha Heel. Teresa Lee Ma. Taylor William Kayata. Samandeep Kaur Sandhu, Advocacy Certificate. Alexander Mitchell Gelati. Kellen Crow. Jennifer Lee Wolf. Ashley Elizabeth Colivas. Zachary Irwin. Danielle Tenenbaum. Reed Robert Wickham with distinction. Bradley Charles Morrow with distinction. Justin Andrew Mallory with distinction. Shannon McClure. Yen Fan.
I'm very last.
All right. Tamina Yassin. Ladies and gentlemen, the Juris Doctor degree class of 2012.
And now, on behalf of our newest alumni, the class of 2012, our faculty and our staff, I'd like to invite all of you to join us for a reception on the law school campus immediately following the ceremony. I look forward to greeting each of you there. Chaplain Hohenhorst will now pronounce the benediction, and following that, I'd ask that you remain in your seats until our graduate class has left the floor of the auditorium. Thank you.
Well, you've all been recognized one by one, and you've been honored. With years of hard work and studies behind you, you've reached this important goal. As you move towards your next goal, you will meet obstacles and the challenges will never be done. But right now, today, is the moment to celebrate and take satisfaction in all that you've learned and all that you have achieved. Now is the time to send you on your way with a blessing. As you go, may you have the courage to practice justice for all. May you live a life that is fair and just and right and good. May you know humility and patience and live as people of integrity. May you always find the right questions to ask. May you always find the right people to love. May you give even more than you have received. May passion inspire you, injustice trouble you, and hope comfort you. And may you be blessed in all things with joy and peace. Amen.